name of the podcast, obviously, The Real Journey, your journey into entrepreneurship. Was there a specific point where you just realised you had to go into it? There was no other option. It was no 9 to 5, no normal route of university and all the fun stuff that we get told to do now. Was there a specific point that you turned?
No, I mean, it was a bunch of different variables, and circumstances over, like, my childhood. Like, I was always interested in having a business. I just didn't know exactly what it was. And I'm talking, like, literally as young as, like, 8 years old. Like, I would act like, "Oh, the Madden Corporation, and here's the structure and how I'm gonna structure it. I'm the CEO, and then I need this." So I was already kinda like that. But I mean, I could give you multiple examples. One was seeing my mom go without being able to eat sometimes so that I could eat. Another thing would be seeing my dad, because my parents were separated, seeing my dad be away from the family for months and months on end, and like literally getting to the point where I couldn't even remember what my own dad looked like until I looked at a picture of us. So seeing that and seeing how much he was like working, and I always kind of felt like the black sheep of the family, the black sheep of the group. Like I never felt like I really fit in. And then that only got more extreme as I graduated high school. Then I went to university, and it was a trade school, so it wasn't some like super impressive university. It was like a
Yeah.
trade school, a technical college, I think they call it. And I spoke to the entrepreneurship and marketing professor, and he had never actually had a business. And I was like, man, I'm already lost. I'm already confused. The person's teaching me literally drives a Kia, and he doesn't actually know anything about business. And so I spent the remaining semester just sitting in the library. So I'd go home, pick up my bro, drop him off at school or go to my school. And I would just sit in the library for the entirety of that semester, just reading. And then I would go to my 9 to 5 at the time. And I guess technically it would be a 9 to 5, but my job, my part time
Yeah.
job at the time. And I just started like studying books on business, on marketing. I found a book called Psycho Cybernetics. To this day, it's one of my favorite books. And from there, I would say it was just me working 9 to 5s and realizing, like, there's no future for me. Like, I'm literally sitting here begging a job, for a $2 raise because 'cause I've increased their sales and I've installed, like, an infrastructure into their sales system, into how they're managing the employees. We launched a foundation that raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for cancer patients, and they wouldn't even give me a $2 raise. And I was just all these various scenarios where I realized, like, Dylan, like, you have to find a way to make this work. And add to that, like, just the various jobs I worked. Even I had one job I was making $16 an hour. So for all purposes, that's like a really good amount of money
Yeah.
as a 9 to 5, but I was still living paycheck to paycheck. And I was like, okay, nah, this isn't going to work. And so I started dabbling in flipping while I was still working this job. And I remember I made, while I was working at the job, almost double the amount of money from this side hustle than I had working. I think it was like an 8 or 9 hour shift. And so it was like all these little situations that kept happening. And I just more and more started divorcing my mind from this concept of working a 9 to 5. Like, I hate the idea of having to wake up at a certain time. I hate the idea of having to be respectful to people that are clearly stupid and not qualified. I like to be able to control my income. I like to be around people I actually like. And I mean, that really just led me down this journey. And I don't even consider myself like an entrepreneur. I just consider myself like an actual living human being where I don't want to be living in some like matrix constructed by other people where I can't do whatever I want when I want. Like if I decide, you know what, I'm tired of living in Dubai, I want to move my entire team to this other country, I can just do it. And like in my opinion, that's the only way that we should live. I mean, even in the Bible, it talks about how God gave man dominion over the earth. So like and we don't even need to go religious on this, but I believe if you truly believe in God, and for me personally, I believe in Christ. If you believe in God, if you believe in Christ, you should be out there actually betting on yourself, and you have like all the faith and everything in yourself instead of putting it in some 9 to 5 job that if you were to die, what, 2 days, 3 days later, your place has been filled, you haven't left
Sure.
any impact on the world, you haven't left any impact on the other people, and more importantly, you haven't left an impact on your own family and inner circle. So, I mean, for me, it was just common sense, like, clearly, this 9 to 5 thing's not working for me, I need a better way, and I'm not trash talking anybody that works 9 to 5, like, I respect anybody that's putting food on the table, But you do need to reach a point where you realize that for the purpose you have on this earth and being able to take care of your family, being able to take care of yourself, like you need to think a little bit differently than what all of us have been programmed to view, like going to university, going to a job, having good health benefits, all this other stuff. Like you have to start thinking a little bit differently, especially with the advent of AI and all the different things that are happening around the world right now.